In this video, we're going to take a look at how to install the software that we need for R for data science, specifically the R statistical language package, as well as Rstudio, the development environment that we're going to be using. So we'll start out by looking for install R 4.0.4. Okay. So from some previous investigation, I have discovered that the most current version of R is called R 4.0.4. And if we Google for install of R 4.0.4, we find download R 4.0.4 for Windows. Now, if you're working on a Mac, it may pop up showing you a choice for the Mac, but I'm going to click on this choice, and here we are. We're in the cranrproject.org, and the first choice I have here is download R 4.0.4 for Windows. Now, again, if you're on a Mac or if you're on a Linux box, you may see a different choice, but I'm going to go ahead and click this. I happen to be using Chrome as my browser, so in the lower left corner of my screen, we'll see this installation file downloading. All right, R 4.0.4 for Windows. And I do actually have it downloaded previously. So let me go to where it is in my folder. Okay, I have multiple monitors, so this popped up over on my other monitor. I'll drag it to where we can see it. There we go. Okay, so here is R 4.0.4 for Windows. I've accidentally downloaded the same thing twice. I'll just go ahead and double click the original one. You may have heard the bell there. I'm getting this user account control widget on my screen, which I don't think Camtasia is recording, but it's basically asking me, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? And I'm going to click yes. And here we go. So I'm asked to select my language. I'll choose English. I'm asked, am I ready to continue? I can read this forever long license, which I won't read. I've read it before years ago. So we'll click next here. And I'm content with the default destination location. So again, I'll click next. And I'm going to install everything. So I'll click next. Do I want to have a customized startup? No, I'll just leave no selected and click next. We'll create the program shortcut in the following Start Menu folder. I'm happy with R as my folder name. Now, here at long last, I'm not going to just click next. Additional shortcuts. Do I want a desktop shortcut? Yes, I do. Do I want a Quick Launch shortcut? Yes, I do. So I've clicked those two checkboxes, and I also want to leave checked these two asking me about registry entries that I want to have updated or created. And I'll click yeah, next. And this takes a little while, not terribly long. I may clip out a few seconds here. All right, so that's completed, and I'm going to click Finish, and I'm done. Okay, so I have now successfully installed R 4.0.4 onto my machine. I'm going to go to my Start menu now, and I'll see that I have R as recently added software. There's both a 64-bit version and a 32-bit version. I want to make sure to use the 64-bit version. You probably almost certainly have a 64-bit machine as well. So I'm going to right-click on this and select Pin to Start and scoot that up to near the top of my Start menu. I'm also going to right-click and select More Pin to Taskbar. All right, so now I have R in my taskbar as well. I can launch R by clicking either in the Start menu or the taskbar. And here we go. Okay, so here is R. Now, we are not going to be directly using just plain old R in our course. We're going to be using something called Rstudio, which is a nicer integrated development environment running on top of R. All right, so to get out of here, I can just say File, Exit, Save Workspace Image. I haven't done anything yet, so I don't really care. I'll just click No. And now I want to return to Google and search for Install Rstudio. Okay, install Rstudio. Download the Rstudio IDE, Integrated Development Environment. So I'll choose that. Choose your version. Well, the free version sounds awfully good. We don't need the server version, so we're going to download Rstudio Desktop. I'll just click Download in the free column. And it will probably pop up with the appropriate version for you in this, at least for me, it's a blue button near the top of the screen. I'm told that in order to use Rstudio Desktop, I need to install R, which I've already done, and then I need to download Rstudio Desktop, which I'll do next. This will also appear, since I'm using Chrome, in my lower left corner. And after it's finished downloading, let me return to seeing that. And it's in my downloads folder. Here we go. There we go. And as I did with R itself, I have accidentally downloaded the Rstudio installation twice. So let me double-click the original one of these. Once again, I get this user account control icon. Do you want to allow this app to make changes? I'm going to click Yes. And click Next. I'm okay with the default location. Click Next. I'm okay with Rstudio as the menu. Click Next. And this takes a little while, so I'll probably clip out some time from this. Okay, so now I have Rstudio installed. I'll click Finish. And I don't need Google anymore. I'm going to get rid of Google, and I'll scoot my file manager out of the way. Let me put... Now, Rstudio doesn't show up, for me anyway, doesn't show up under Recently Added. So I'm going to have to scroll down and locate... Here are my R things. So when I open the Rstudio folder, Rstudio is the only application in here. Let me pin that to the Start menu. And I'll scoot it up right next to where I put plain old R. I'm also going to right-click and More and Pin to Taskbar. All right, so now I have Rstudio available. Let me fire it up. And here we have Rstudio. So the nice thing here is that I have my plain R language interface in the left-hand side, and in the lower right corner, I have a window in which I can see my executed code, any plots that I want to produce. I can interact with files that I have, etc. Now, if you are installing R and Rstudio for the first time, this upper right window, which for me is set to environment, will probably be empty. I apparently have some old variables sitting around from my previous installation of Rstudio from last summer. So for you, this will probably be blank. And there we are. The third thing that we need to do, now that we have installed R itself and Rstudio, is we need to install the Tidyverse library facilities. Let me make this font larger so that you don't go blind trying to read what I'm doing here. So we'll go to Profile, Tools, and Global Options, I think. Appearance, Editor Size. All right, let's go to 24. That makes it a little better. There, that's a little better. That's a little easier to read. And to get the Tidyverse packages installed, we simply say install.packages and Tidyverse. Now, we're going to get a whole bunch of messages when we do this. A whole bunch of stuff is going to flood on our screen. The first thing that we get told is that RTools is required to build our packages. Actually, that only is necessary if we need to compile source code, and we don't need to do that. We can just use the Tidyverse stuff that's available for us to download directly from CRAN. Now that I've done the installation of the package, I'm going to say library Tidyverse. Now, I assume that you've used R before, so this is not a mystery to you, but just for, just to warn you, you do have to use quotes to create Tidyverse as a string when you do the install packages. But once that package is installed, then you load that library by just saying library Tidyverse without any quotes. And here we go. And we get warned that we have some conflicts, but it turns out that those conflicts don't actually matter. And we have ggplot2, Tibble, tidyr, readr, various other packages for the Tidyverse that we're going to be talking about as we go through the lectures. Okay, so we have now done it, and you can go to File, Quit Session if you wish, and we're ready to go on to the first week's lecture.